This eye has already been created with pyrography, but today I'm adding some coloured pencil to bring this iris to life. I am starting with a light layer of the cream 102. Now I'm using the Faber Castell Polychromos pencils. And what we're doing is going in very light with the pressure. I can always add more colour, but once you press too hard, it becomes much harder to build those soft layers. I'm not trying to cover the wood completely. I still want the pyrography underneath to show through and do some of the work for me. So I'm adding the layers in between the pyrography flecks at the moment. This second layer is the light cobalt turquoise 154, and again going in with a very light layer, so very light on pressure. We don't want to dig into the wood. I find that wood doesn't tend to hold too many layers because you have to sand it smooth to create the pyrography. It means that you've got a smoother layer to work with with the pencils. I'm following the natural lines that travel out from the pupil rather than colouring around the iris in circles. So I'm getting in between those lines. This next pencil is an earth green and it's 172. Again, I'm going to go around just this pupil part with this colour. Because the iris has got lots of different colours in it and lots of different flecks everywhere, I want to recreate that. This pencil is the Helio Turquoise. I probably haven't said that right, but it's number 155. Sometimes you just can't say them. And I'm going to go around the outside of this. And I'm deepening the colour around the pupil and then around the outside of the iris. This helps to create those little changes in colour and the texture that make the eye feel more realistic. Being careful to preserve that highlight. This next pencil is the Green Opaque 174. You don't have to have these exact pencils. It's just a slightly darker green than the last one. And I'm still layering and I want to again go in between those colours. So I put the lighter colour down originally. I've done the darker colour around pupil, the last colour around the pupil and around the outside, and now this one goes in between to try and blend them together a little bit. This next one is a cobalt blue greenish and it's number 144. I'm going to start up at this top where there's usually a shadow underneath where the eyelid meets the iris. I'm bringing this down here. Those darker areas give the eye more depth, but I'm building them slowly so it doesn't become too harsh. I'm going to go back over some of the previous areas and the colours and gently blend the layers together with this one. And this just helps create the little changes. The little flecks in the eye. This next pencil is the dark indigo. Now With this dark indigo, I am going to start at the top because it's nice and dark up here, and I'm bringing in some of that dark ring that is usually around the outside of the iris, should I say? And it's just bringing this colour in really subtle. And then what I'm going to do is go over some of those darker areas. So there's slightly darker fleck just around the outside. Just bringing that colour in a little bit. Then coming just inside, just deepening those flecks in that iris. And it's mainly over the pyrography areas that I'm putting this colour. Gently adding in a few more. So I'm using a little bit more pressure with this one. Now this one here is a Payne's grey. The number escapes me, but it's just a dark grey. And again, going over some of those really dark flecks to get some of them a little bit deeper and adding that extra depth. Realistic colour is usually built by layering and adjusting a little bit at a time, and that's all you need to do. Sometimes you may need to go back over with some lighter pencils, and sometimes you won't. This is just the layering process that I use for adding colour to wood. And deepening some of these bits down here, and you can see overall the iris is starting to look like an iris with all those darker flecks and the lighter flecks. Now this is a cold grey 2, and what I'm going to do with the cold grey 2 is go in between those darker flecks. I'm going to go onto the lighter areas and pull those out. And you notice I'm still not going circular motions. I'm moving more with those shapes that are in the eye. And I'm going in between the darker sections, and it's blending. The grey tends to blend the colours together really well. This here is a white, and it's a museum aquarelle by Karen Danash, and it is so soft. So here what I'm doing is adding these little tiny white flecks into the shine of this eye, and this makes it really pop. So we've added depth, and now I'm adding those little highlights. And with this particular pencil, it seems to pick up the colour underneath and enhance it, but still keeping the colour without laying the complete white down. You don't need dozens of pencils or a perfect colour. It's about building the light layers and creating that value contrast between the lights and the darks. This is part of a longer tutorial in the Phoenix Academy. If you wish to join me, then the information is in the description box below.